The Caribou, Here, There, Everywhere by Gandhi. Being from the Rock, as Newfoundland is known, I take a great interest in our province's military history. My ancestor, Gander, served in the Second World War and received a Dickin Medal for bravery. I'm pretty proud of him. To remember the sacrifices made during the First World War, the people of Newfoundland erected caribou statues at Beaumont Hamel and 5 other sites in France, Belgium, and Newfoundland. It is a special caribou trail of remembrance. The caribou is an important symbol to the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. They are native animals there and can be found on the cap badge of the Royal Newfoundland Regiment as they symbolize the strength of the soldiers. During the First World War, you could also find the caribou emblem on hockey sweaters and special pins that were sold at home to raise money to help the soldiers overseas. The caribou on the picture? Caribous could also be seen engraved on the headstones of Newfoundlanders who died and on bronze memorial plaques. This tradition continues today, as a recent project saw the Royal Newfoundland Regiment caribou added to more than 3 dozen street signs in St. John's, Newfoundland, and Labrador's capital city. Animals as symbols of remembrance are a great choice. Bow wow! It makes me want to wag my tail. And so let's read the little words that are right beside the picture. Royal Newfoundland Regiment Hockey Team in 1917. The photo is from the Rooms Provincial Archives, Division SANL 12601-074. Tunnels, sheep, and socks. When we visited Beaumont Hamel and Vimy Ridge, I liked seeing all the sheep. Did you know that those cute woolly animals are put to work keeping the grass short on old battlefields for a very good reason? There are still many unexploded artillery shells from the First World War under the soil there, and people with lawnmowers could potentially get hurt. Luckily, the sheep can do this chore safely. While we were at Vimy, we saw lots of trenches and tunnels that soldiers actually dug with picks and shovels here during the war. Underground tunnels were very useful as they helped protect soldiers from enemy fire. Some of them were pretty fancy, even having electric lights, piped water, and storage spaces. But they sure weren't comfortable for men. When I first saw the sheep, it reminded me of a special way that people back home helped soldiers during the war. Women would knit thousands of pairs of warm woolen socks and gloves to send to the men who were serving overseas, stuck outside at all times of the year. Maybe I could get wool from the sheep here and make socks for all the Remembrance Clubhouse animals. It sure would take a lot to make some large enough to fit my big feet, though. This is a picture of sheep grazing at Vimy Ridge in France. The photo was taken from Veteran Affairs Canada. A Fool Named Vimy by Bonfire Jr. Life for Canadian soldiers in the First World War was tough. They often had to march for hours carrying a rifle, ammunition, a heavy sack, a gas mask, shovels, and more. They were strong young men, but they needed help to get needed supplies to the front lines. In fact, tons of ammunition and rations had to be hauled each day, about the weight of several elephants like Ellie. Thankfully, hard-working pack horses helped ease the load. Horses like me were the backbone of the army, and 50,000 were shipped from Canada overseas to carry supplies and pull artillery guns. With so many horses around, sometimes there were even baby animals born on the battlefield. One little horse was born on Vimy Ridge, and the soldiers named the cute foal Vimy. It is neat to be named after something so important as this iconic Canadian battle of April 1917. For our soldiers, many of whom grew up on farms looking after Vimy, must have been a welcome break from the harsh life in the trenches. Having a young animal to care for helped keep their minds off their worries, even if it was just for a moment. I like stories like this. After all, I am named in honor of my ancestor Bonfire, who is the horse of John McCrae, the Canadian First World War Army doctor who wrote the famous poem In Flanders Fields. And this is a picture of Vimy the foal with its mother and a friendly Canadian soldier.